First Strike is a new rune coming to the Season 12 arsenal and is looking to shake up the metagame in a way that we haven't seen in a long time. This brings us back to the Kleptomancy era, being a rune that rewards appropriate aggression and creates meaningful gold advantages by itself. I wanted to give a breakdown of this rune to look further into just how strong it could potentially be, what playstyles this new version of this rune thrives off of, and how it may or may not be as strong as you might think. So let's do a quick refresher on the rune. The way it works is that if you damage an enemy champion before they do so to you, this gives you 5 extra gold and activates the First Strike rune. After activation, First Strike then increases the damage dealt from your subsequent attacks and abilities for the next 3 seconds by 12% and converting some or all of that extra damage as gold, with the ratio changing dependent on whether your champion is melee or ranged. This has opened up quite the variety of different use cases available for the rune, which can make for some interesting combos and gold generation tactics that we haven't really seen from the game in a while. It rewards calculated aggression and those who take bold risks to cash in the potentially incredible value that this rune can provide. As indicated by its design, it also allows players to hit interesting item breakpoints or purchases that you might normally not be able to see. Imagine a Draven player cashing in their passive and getting a massive First Strike proc off, then coming back to lane with a full mythic at like 5 minutes in the game. Or the possibility of a Katarina coming into a fight with First Strike, deleting an entire enemy team in an instant, and then coming back with 1000 extra gold generated from a rune. First Strike opens the path for some of these crazy combinations. To top it all off and supplement this playstyle, the rune literally increases damage dealt in fights for 3 seconds, which means that it is meant for and can be used for an advantage in combat. The one main caveat with this rune is that it's quite volatile. As easy as it is to say that this rune has no downsides, there is a big one and it's in the name. In situations where you don't happen to get the first strike and an enemy hits you first, the rune actually still goes on its 25 to 15 second cooldown. So compared to most keystones in the game where there's a relative guarantee of a given amount of pressure throughout the game, it's very possible that First Strike will get you absolutely nothing, especially in situations where you're facing laners that provide a lot of pressure and make your life exceptionally difficult. There are plenty of other great rune options you could go for, and I think that if you're not exceptionally confident in your play or have a good environment in the game to abuse this rune, it will be very difficult to be effective. Another thing to consider with the rune is that it's actually not for everyone. The gold made and the damage it provides when it works can have some incredible upside, but there are situations where competing runes can and will actually be a more effective choice. Other runners like Press the Attack, Lethal Tempo, and Conqueror are more consistent damage options and can typically give more agency to players in an extended fight. First Strike's damage bonus is relatively concise, providing a boost for only 3 seconds after initially proccing it. Compare this to other runes like PTA or Conqueror, which can provide more damage and for a more extended period of time, making it much more effective in these other scenarios. This damage can be of course offset though by the massive gold generation that First Strike brings to the table, so I think the correct choice for any given situation will depend greatly on factors like the identity of your champion that you're playing, the matchup you're in, and the necessity for a certain style for your champ in order to win the game. To build on this rune page issue, committing to First Strike as a rune also means that you have to commit to the inspiration tree that it belongs to. The implications of this mean that you end up having to commit to a lot of the slightly wackier rune choices that it comes with, when many champions that opt for this would love the creature comforts and potential damage that other runes in those trees would bring to the table. Without a doubt, the inspiration runes are still great choices overall and have strengths in most or all situations, but it sometimes would just be nicer or more convenient to have the additional damage or other use cases. Gold is damage in a sense, however, of course, so the value of First Strike on some champions can negate absolutely all of this and just make it absolutely broken regardless. So now let's talk intended playstyles and use cases for First Strike. If we think about the ideal situations in which the rune's supposed to be used, players who take the rune as their keystone want to be maximizing the amount of situations that they are in to use it and cash out on its additional gold. Based on what I've been seeing, the most success on the rune has come from champions that naturally have this sort of style. Think artillery mages, or assassins that naturally have a big burst of damage or can benefit from being able to attack for free. Long range AD carries like Ezreal are also a great candidate here. The rune's still brand new, so there's still of course going to be some specifics in relation to this that are going to be hashed out, but based on preliminary gameplay so far, it has produced some very interesting results. Although the rune might be a tad overtuned at the moment, I think it's been quite the interesting addition to the game and can create some new playstyles that we haven't been able to see before. As always, hope this video helped you guys out, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay fresh.